What did you think? What did you like? What did you not like about Data Storm?
This continues the tradition of Defender clones that I like way better than actual Defender. But I was never a fan of Defender in the arcade. I don't know if you ever played an actual arcade machine of Defender. Have you ever played one in the flesh?
Yeah, tons of times.
Oh, okay, well, so you're familiar with the control layout.
Yeah, insanely hard. So much harder than playing it on main.
It's so much harder.
Yeah.
Because there's you have to literally hit buttons for everything. Mm-hmm. So in the arcade, I avoided this thing like the plague. I played it one time. Home versions that had to simplify the controls, good move. They were overcomplicated in the arcade to the nines. Of course, that's the old days of the arcade. They're still trying to figure out the joystick and whatnot. So we played, I think it was Archer McLean did Drop Zone, didn't he, as I recall?
Yeah, Archer McLean, that's right.
And so this was sort of like another one of these. Well, I even like this one more than that one, if I'm honest. Did you actually try this on the, or look at it on the ST?
No, I did not. I should have, though.
I took a look at it. If you're watching at home, you can see they're not totally dissimilar. I mean, it's not, they didn't reinvent the wheel again. For the ST version of this, it runs up.
It looks crappier.
It's
the
not
car
as
looks
nice.
less detailed.
My thing is, it came out, what'd you say, 2 years earlier on the ST.
This is. I wish I would have given this a shot because there's a lot like the Amiga version is presented in a pseudo 3D perspective. The camera is tilted down a little bit, so you can actually see the sides of the cars.
This was straight top down.
This is straight top down, which is like the arcade version.
Which do you prefer?
Well, the Amiga version looks better. So
it looks a lot better.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Now, this game, Aaron, the full title, not just Avalon, The Legend of Avalon, the 3D adventure movie.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
That's a title.
So in the advertising, they sell this game like I've never heard a game sold before.
A lot of hype.
Okay. It says Avalon, the all action, keep that in mind, 3D arcade adventure movie. Avalon, with unique, stunning, moving graphics. Avalon, the breakthrough that brings adventure to life. And Avalon, the adventure game of the decade.
Did you say the all-action 3D arcade adventure movie?
Yes.
Man, how much can you cram into one sentence?
That's direct from the fire.
Holy moly.
Right. Okay, so this is really some of those words apply to Avalon. $29 in 1985 that's a lot of money. I mean, that's what Nintendo games cost.
Right. And just to put it in perspective, I bought one game, I believe, ever out of the magazines, and that was WrestleManiac. Mm-hmm. And we've recovered that. And there's some similarities to this and that. But you played that game. Now, you can imagine spending $30, waiting 2 to 6 weeks for that to show up. You get it. It's in a plastic baggie with a paper Xeroxed instruction page and a disc, and then you're in. And that's all you've got. And then you load it up, and you hope it's not absolute garbage.
Yeah. Tubin has been included in several compilations of classic arcade games. The old Midway Arcade Treasures for the Xbox.
Yeah.
The Arcade Party Pack. This game, of course, also got, recently in 2021, it got an Arcade 1-Up treatment as one of their games.
That's kind of
I actually bought this game before I even had an Atari ST.
That's love right there.
Yeah, I knew I was getting an ST for my birthday, so used weeks of savings to buy Speedball in advance, based purely on magazine reviews. I was so excited when I first booted it up until I realized my fatal flaw. I only had a black and white TV at the time.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, he said I'd have to wait several more months for Christmas before I got a color one. And as you can imagine, Speedball is next to unplayable without being able to figure out which side the player is on.
Yeah, because there's very little to differentiate the two. Never mind, I botched that. Man, botched my own bit. Welcome to a better late than never edition of ARG. Son of a... Hello, everyone. Welcome to a better late than never edition of ARG Presents. I'm your good buddy, your good pal, Amigo Aaron, joined by a man who's better never than. It's two little controllers form a cool looking keyboard. That always gets me fired up for the creative vision.
It does. And if someone typed on this, I bet they were like, oh no.
Well, I mean, listen, it's not for typing, but still, you can type on it if you wanted to. So, you know, I know what you're saying, ARG listeners and viewers, thinking, so, hey, wait a minute. That looks familiar to me, and you're not wrong, because we did a show a few years ago on what they call the Dick Smith Wizard. Not to be confused with Dick Smith System 80.
Super 80.
That's right, the Super 80. This is the Dick Smith Wizard, 2 Z's.
Well, no, this is the creative vision.
Right. By the way, this was originally not titled this. It was going to be Barney and Clyde, I think that's what it was called.
That's much worse.
Well, they backtracked on the old Bonnie and Clyde gimmick to go on this road. I played every level of this game. I tortured myself for you people. And it was torture, Brent. It was unparalleled torture for me to play this game. Now, on the flip side, it's free. You can get it right now. If you like, hey, listen.
You know, I can go to the street corner and get punched in the face for free. That means I'm going to go...
You know, me and Brent, you may have noticed this if you watch the shows we appear on. We occasionally will have a bit of a tiff or a disagreement about a game. In fact, almost all the time. But in this game, I think we're in lockstep in our hatred of it. It violated every Pac-Man rule, and those rules were there for a reason. They were because violating that makes the game unfun. I can't tell you how many levels that would start up, and I'd see like 4 billion dots. I'd just be like, oh no. And then I'd get down there and the level would scroll. I'd be like, oh God, why me? Why me? This was a frustrating walk down pain lane.
Yes. But back to the topic at hand, Wizards and Warriors, a very unique game. This was also one of the first games, because of course in the early days of consoles and computers both, a lot of developers never saw their names. The games didn't have credits. You were lucky if your developing team got mentioned, unless you were doing a solo project that you could put your name under the title screen or something. You were kind of lost. This game kind of broke a little bit of that, not completely, but like the music in this game, the guy that did music for a crap ton of NES games, tons of famous stuff. He was huge on the scene, and he actually got credited at the end on your end scroll. But I know watching the playthrough, this did go on forever.
Yeah,
I mean, it went on so long. When I watch it double speed.
Yeah.
And I got to the point I was like, okay, I'm just going to. I started skipping ahead 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And I probably did that 15 times. And it was still going. I was like, oh my gosh.
It goes on forever. And the thing is, you'll get the waves of the sky worms and something. Eventually, you get the sky devils who look dopey and like they're out of place. And then eventually, and at the end scene. I timed it perfectly. Your guy, literally, this is a VTOL dragon. He comes straight down and then lands you at the king's throne. And the last part of the game.
Aren't you worried you're spreading it a little thin? This is where we do Amiga stuff.
Okay, Boat. Sorry, man. It'll never happen again. I'll take it right off the wheel. I'm sorry about that, man. I'm sorry, man. I promise. I'll take it right off the wheel. I'm sorry.
There's one part of the game, Bill, we've got to talk about, and that is the naked chick. If you play, I believe in both the England stage and I think one of the American stages, or maybe it's Paris. That would make sense. On the continent, they're very lax with their nudity. You've got a lady just chilling out, one in. Bill, first time you saw that, what'd you think?
Well, I mean, I haven't played the game. I didn't play the game when I was a kid, so I'm an adult. So I see it from a different perspective. If I heard about a game with boobies in it when I was a kid, I definitely would have been asking Dad for it. You know?
You know, we've been down this road a few times. I was looking over the list of CPS1 games And we've covered more than a few of these on the show.
Yeah.
We talked about we talked about Strider. We talked about Willow. We talked about Final Fight, Mercs. So we've talked about more than a few of these things. I forgot about your trivia game that you love so much. We also covered
Quiz
that
and
one a while
Dragons,
back.
baby.
Quiz and Dragons. So, and of course, Street Fighter. We've been up and down the block on the old CPS.
Well, that should tell you something.
Yeah.
That should tell you how incredibly influential this board was.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about an arcade game changer.
Yeah.
I mean, Street Fighter wouldn't exist if this board wasn't capable of running it.
Yeah.
If you just shoot once or twice and you put the guns back up, cool. If you unload, if you're shooting like 10, 12 shots or whatever, when you put the guns back up beside your head, smoke trails coming off your guns.
Yeah.
It's those little bits, those little touches that, I mean, the game, if it didn't have that, would it change the game? I don't know. But it takes it from being the greatest game to one of the best of all time. I didn't enjoy this as a Spectrum game. I enjoyed this as a game.
Yeah.
I didn't go, man, this is really good for the Spectrum. I said, no, this is just really good. And that's a distinction that might not sound like much, but it's huge.
Are you going to spin the wheel for next week, the Brent?
I believe.
You can't because you get all your crap in there.
Reseed the wheel, right?
No. We're not doing that.
It looks like, Aaron, next week.
You're making something up. How about let the audience pick something?
All right, audience, pick something.
Here you go, everybody. This is your chance. The first person that says the most cunning thing they can think of right now, and we'll do it. No, I said cunning.
Games about fruit.
Games about fruit. There it is. Well done. Well done. That was Hat Chad.
He was in the cheap seat.
I'm going to guess he saw the banana sitting beside him, mixed with Frank's response.
Yeah.
Put them together, bam, there you
I
go.
forgot. So Frank did get what he wanted.
We both enjoyed the TRS-80.
That's right.
More than we probably ever could have under normal circumstances. And do you know what that is?
I don't know what that even means.
It was because we had loads and loads of games through piracy.
Yeah, all of them.
This was a special time of piracy. This was not you jump on your computer and you download the latest files. This was back in the sneakernet era where you go over to somebody's house and you take a load of floppies and you copy them up.
Yeah.
Do you miss that scene? Do you miss the human interaction when you're trading software, or are you kind of glad it's done for?
I had some of that human interaction this weekend, actually, so it's not dead. Bootlegging is alive and well.
Finally, last but not least, is an Amiga CD32, but kind of a weird CD.
Oh, yes. I remember you talking about this a while back.
Yeah.
This is a really strange one, isn't it?
So this is technically an NTSC CD32. It was sold by a company in the United States that sold to dental offices.
Yeah.
At least this particular machine was.
Yeah.
It came with a CD that, these kiosks kind of sat in the office, and while you're waiting for your procedure, you could learn about what was going to happen to you, or what various teeth components are, solve the boredom problem while you're sitting in the waiting room.
Right.
But yeah, I think they're just basically reusing the hardware because Commodore wasn't selling it.
This one is slightly less dirty, slightly less yellow.
Nah, we don't worry about dirt and yellow. That's clean. That's a little elbow grease. So we will start this one right where we started the last one. Do I hear 150, anyone? 150. Do we have a 175? 175 for this one. Anyone on the front? Come on. It's the Purdy one. 150. Anyone online? We're going to give them 30 more seconds. Not even that. I lied to you online people. I'm only going to give you about 15 seconds. 150 going once.
If you're in it.
Going twice. That's it. Get it out of here. Well, let me put a sticker on it.
Mexico.
Oh, no, I went to Mexico first. You're right.
How old were you when you went to Mexico?
39.
39.
Yeah.
Man. 39.
Yeah.
You still remember that flight?
Yeah, it scared the hell out of me because we were coming in for a landing in Houston, I think it was, and we're coming in, and then we're not coming in, and the guy goes, whoa, the big jet, And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, we had to pull up. There was another plane on the runway. I was like, what? And he acted like that happens all the time. Maybe it does in Houston. I don't know. So, but yeah, I wasn't keen on flying much after that. They wanted to get Earl Weaver in there, okay? And so they kept interviewing Weaver in his hotel room when the team was on the road because he was managing at the time, right? This is 1985.
Really? I thought he'd already retired by then.
No. And so Don Brower, I've read this before, but he apologized to Weaver one time. He's like, listen, because we're so sorry we keep following you around. These hotel rooms are taking up all your time. But Weaver told them he was happy they were doing it. He said he never had anything to do on the road, and he got bored in the hotel room, and he also just liked talking about baseball and stats. So
That's
you had
fantastic.
what a
sport.
you imagine? Yeah, you can imagine this old, gray, silver-haired guy just in there talking about how this game was going to work statistically. So, as I mentioned, much like with Madden, they didn't just put his name on there. I mean, I'm not sure how integral he was to the entirety of the program, but I mean, he did have input. A lot of it, because they went after him. I took a quick look at the BBC micro version of this alongside the Coco version, and you can see there's not really. I mean, it's a very faithful port boat.
Absolutely. Of course, the BBC Micro is a league or two ahead of the Coco in terms of technical specifications and price. So it's going to give you better graphics. It's going to give you better music and sound. But the Coco port is, like you said, it's incredibly faithful. And it's so awesome that we're able to play this classic on the Coco/Dragon thanks to this guy.
Yeah, I got to give him credit. And, of course, also credit for his incredible emulation package. But, yeah, this stands up well. And if you're watching at home, really, you've got multiple palette solutions. So you could pretty much make your Coco experience look almost identical to the BBC if you took the Ocean boat. Because you've got those options in there, which is not.
It gives you clues on how to enter the secret room whenever a hidden wall is shot away on any level. The player gets a screen explaining they'd been awarded extra points and inviting the player that you can enter your name. Okay, so then, once you enter your name, the machine will give you a 6-digit code. All right. The 6-digit code, you write down that code, you put it onto a competition entry form. The first 500 entries won a Gauntlet 2 t-shirt and a chance of winning a $5,000 savings bond. Do you remember the old savings bond, Aaron?
Oh, yeah. Savings bond, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you were an arcade owner that didn't care to, put your players in this state where they might want to win something, you can turn that off, and then you just get a screen that says, "Hey, you got to the secret room. Here's 5,000 bonus points," which is crap. Hi everybody, welcome to the Coco Show, and we already have to stop because your Dick Smith is reversed.
I'm glad you put Smith at the end of that. How did my stuff get reversed? Dadgummit. When I'm playing this at home with like a gamepad or something, I always have trouble making some of these jumps. And I thought to myself, I want to see how this controls in the real world. And I can tell you something right now. This controls way better in the arcade. Like a much better than it does on like a gamepad. I don't know what it is, but this game was real tight. I had a really good run when I went to the arcade. I played it a couple times. And it's got I like the cabinet on it. The bezel art's real pretty. Like I said, there's monkeys and freedom everywhere. It's a real colorful game. It's fun loving. In some ways, it reminds me a little bit of Pooh Yan. The plot's sort of similar.
I loaded it up and I thought, I think this emulator's broken. This isn't running right.
Yeah.
So I actually switched emulators, went to a different emulator, and I was like, this emulator has the same strange bug as that other emulator. And then I was like, maybe this isn't a bug. And it's not. Holy cow. The orange squash moves at a snail's pace. The rest of the world runs fine. Orange squash does not run fine. In fact, he doesn't run at all. I would say casual stride is the best you can say about it.
I would say like manic wobble.